Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of the Real Deal Podcast, Women's History Month series. Also, it is March Madness. It begins today for the men, and the women's start tomorrow. So get those brackets in. But before we get started, let's get it. All right. Once again, I'm your host, as always, Courtney Hardin. Welcome to the Real Deal Podcast. Happy Thursday, first day of spring, March Madness, Women's History Month. So, this is the Women's History Month series. I got a great returning podcast family, not guest, podcast family. She's been on the show. We was just talking before. This is her 8th time, so she is definitely the real deal royalty back on the show as well. So before I bring her in, not gonna keep her long in waiting in the wings, but you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, we're on YouTube, bs3tvlive.com. We're on the Roku channel, BS3 Network, Roku channel. Download the app and get all the shows there as well. You can follow me on all the social media platforms. I'm on Blue Sky now, so follow me on Blue Sky, CJ Harden 79 on Blue Sky. But we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. So, like I said, I'm not gonna keep my podcast family member waiting in the wings too long. Let me read her resume here. And she's got a lot of different things she's been doing, but a big promotion. Kacy Standohar, sports reporter, anchor for NBC Chicago now. Big ups to that. Big props for that. Big East FS1, Illini football host and reporter. Also, DePaul Athletics podcast host. The resume is long, but she's a great friend. That's first and foremost as well. So, Kacy, welcome back to the show for the 8th time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Courtney. I feel like, you know how on SNL they get the jacket when they host for 5 times?
Yes.
Time member.
I got to get, yes. Speaking of that, I'm working on some merch too. So I do get some. Gotta definitely send you one for sure.
Just kidding. But thank you for having me. You know, I know you mentioned the first day of spring. There's literally snow outside in Chicago.
I know.
Doesn't feel like spring just yet. We've had like some nice weather and then it's gotten bad again. And
yeah, same here. It's the same exact thing here. I mean, we supposed to have 70 today, but it looks very gloomy and cloudy.
Yeah.
We had 70 yesterday. It was nice. It was real nice yesterday, but they're supposed to drop back down to 40s and 50s. So I get that weird weather it is. So, but
Yeah.
that's the way it is. East Coast and Midwest, that's how it is. So that's the weather. But how have you been? Again, thank you for doing this again. I know we were planning this for the last few months when I knew we were going to do this. But you said you've been very busy, promotions and everything, what you've been working hard for. So you got it, and congrats on that too.
Thank you so much. It's been so fun. I've been at NBC Chicago since around January. So got that job in December, started in January, and it's been great. It's been an awesome challenge. The people are nice. The station is just wonderful. I actually started my career at an NBC station in Youngstown, Ohio. Yeah. So it's kind of like a cool full circle moment to now be at an NBC station again. You know, can't get rid of the peacock, I guess. But
yeah,
it's been awesome. And I'm still doing the DePaul podcast, and I'm still doing some work with Illini football and basketball, which is great. And they're, you know, in the tournament, as you know, we're talking about. But staying busy as ever. But I'm not complaining because this is what I wanted. You know, this is what I asked for.
For sure. And then we've talked over the last couple of years. I think since 2022 is when we connected and networked and connected. And we talked about, you know, keep pursuing, keep pushing, and those things that you've been working on. I just remember just being a fan of yours, or just a friend and a champion of yours. Just to, as you said, just it was hard, you know, freelancing, and now, you know, you you push forward and continue to keep getting these positions and work and things like that. So I'm so, like I said, I'm so happy for you for that NBC Chicago when you announced it, and you messaged me back and said, hey, working on something. We'll get back with each other. We'll get back with each other in the next couple of months. Just want to see how things are lining up. And you had told me that you were, pursuing this, and now it's here. So how wonderful is that feeling to get that position, and now as a the sports reporter anchor for NBC Chicago.
Yeah, it was a great feeling. I think at first I was like, how any new job is, you're always worried at first that you're not going to get it. I was kind of like, okay, I auditioned, I felt good about it, but you never know,
Right.
someone else, and there's a lot going on. And so I kind of was trying to lay low and not do anything that could, I don't know, you know how it is. You're just like waiting for news.
Right.
And so I waited. And then my boyfriend actually got a new job as well a day before I got my new job. So cool for us both to get good news. Yeah. So really exciting times. And like I said, I'm busier than ever, but it's been good. Like I'm anchoring a lot. I'm out in the field a lot, and we're trying to work on some special stories here and there, covering some athletes who have either achieved something really great or have been through something really hard and came back. And so I'm having a good time with it.
Yeah, and it seems. I mean, you're enjoying it just by the content I've seen, the videos I've seen.
Thank you.
Too. So we got some shout outs. Nathan Wamasandra from the Nathan Sports Rush says hello, good morning. He said you are the best. Yeah, I agree 100%, 100%. And he said keep up the great work for both of us. And March Madness, yes, we're gonna get into a little bit of March Madness. And like you said, now you're anchoring and reporting, you're doing it, in the field and things like that. What do you think is your favorite part of the journey that you're at? Is it everything? Do you like anchoring more? You like reporting more? Is it just you're just like, hey, I do whatever they ask me to do?
True, I do whatever they ask me to do. I love it all.
Love it all, right? Yeah.
But I think there's a part of me that has done sideline and reporting so much.
Yeah.
And I love that. I feel like that's my bread and butter. But I like the challenge of anchoring because it's different. It's it's something that I haven't done as much. So I'm getting that experience even more, and working with the other anchors in the news department, and just kind of just being around for all of that is really cool. Just the first time I stepped into that studio, I was like, this feels so surreal,
Yeah. You stepped in. It was like, this like, wow. Like I'm actually anchoring, right? Yeah, for sure. And so, and I know how important storytelling is to you too. You talked about working on stories, and now you definitely get that opportunity to really tell those long form. So I know how that's very important.
Yeah.
Talk about that, the storytelling now that you're able to, as you say, anchoring and in the studio, even just going out in the field. You've been doing. I've seen a lot of the interviews you've done recently too. But talk about how important that storytelling is to you, just to get for these athletes to tell a different side of them.
Yeah, it's really important. Sorry, my dog is barking, but it's really important because it gives me a chance to not only just be a voice for these athletes, but also to be able to dive into stories deeper, like cover something about the Bears in a little more in depth. Have 2 or 3 minutes on a story, do more interviews, and it's just a bigger platform to be able to tell those stories. So I always love that chance because, like, for example, we did a story on the 2 women golfers who are going to Augusta for the women's amateur. So doing that, and like we also have another story coming out on a Northwestern swimmer. So I don't know. I just have a great team. Like my photographer, Matt, everybody that I work with is super helpful and wants the stories to be good and wants everything to look and sound great. So it's just it helps when you have resources, and I've been able to have more of that at this new job, and so we're able to tell those stories, and it's great to hear from like fans and viewers and people that watch NBC who are enjoying what we're putting out there.
Yeah, it is very important because I love this the story you had to sit down with Kendall and Phoenix Gill, and You said you played a little bit of paper
Yeah.
basketball hoops, and but discussed the like life and winning and following in his dad's footsteps, which is I thought that was a fascinating story because
Thank you.
you don't hear. I mean, you do hear those stories, but I think it's just so they are fascinating. They're so like important
Yes.
as well. But when you had that story, like you said, someone following their dad's footsteps, who was a NBA player for so long, professional player for so long. I think those are those type of stories that are very important.
Yeah, and another station had done a similar story on the two of them, and I wanted mine to be different. So that's
Yeah.
why no one owns the rights to the idea, right? So that's why I was like, okay, why don't we play? Or why don't I have them ask each other the questions?
Yeah.
And when they're done, they crinkle up the paper and try to make a basket. And so they kind of have fun with it. And Kendall was like, I'm gonna win, but he didn't win. And Phoenix is a great kid. He's going to Northwestern, and even though Dad was, part of the Flying Illini,
Yeah.
It'll be different, but also the same. And his dad's very supportive, good father. So I don't know. It was a cool story to do, and I'm glad they took the time to sit down with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
If you had a couple athletes you haven't interviewed, who would it be? If you had now you have the resources and stuff. If you can name two or three, don't have to be athletes, it could be coaches or anything like that.
Yeah,
Name two or three coaches, and you might be working on these stories too. But
yeah.
if you had yours, just say, okay, I have the resources. I want to work on this athlete that I haven't
Mhm.
interviewed, or this coach or executive. Who would it be?
Mhm.
To put you on the spot.
I'd love to get more inside the minds of the Cubs, and whether
Oh,
that's front office or players,
yeah.
coming back from Tokyo, how that experience was for
Yeah.
them. I think that would be really cool. Um, I know it'd be tough, but if you're interviewing, say at Suzuki or Shota Imanaga, you might need some translation help. And but just that experience to be able to play in front of their home country and then come back and experience the differences between American baseball and Japanese baseball. So that would be cool. But I don't know. There's so many people. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to get closer to what's going on up at Hallis Hall with the Bears, right? Like getting
Ooh, yes.
with Ben Johnson mid-season would
Mm-hmm.
be cool. It's tough because they tend to do interviews with the station that carries the games, like the Fox
Mm-hmm.
station. So we're limited sometimes there, but I would love to do that. And talking to Caleb Williams about the coaching changes, right? Like
Yeah.
the differences between how it was with Matt Eberflus in his time at USC and then how it is now with Ben Johnson. So
Right.
that's cool.
Yeah, those are big. Yeah, that'd be like you said. I can see you actually getting if you got those stories and really making it your own,
Thank you.
and just to be able to just to be able to ask the questions like you said, like with the Bears season, there was expectations. We talked about this. There was expectations this past season.
Every
Didn't go
year.
as yeah, didn't go as planned. But now you said getting a new coach and everything too. What's your take on that? The new coach and now again another new system and everything too. But like coming in now into the draft too, since we'll transition to that. What's your pulse of what you're thinking of what the
Mhm.
Bears need? Is this something that you're looking forward to? What's
Yeah.
your early expectations? I know it's after free agency and things like that and the draft coming up.
Tough. Yeah. The Bears have had a lot of change in the past couple of years. And
Yeah.
everybody likes to blame the coach. And I'm not saying Matt Eberflus wasn't, I believe he should have been fired. But
Mm,
I just
yeah.
hope that Ben's the answer because we all just point the finger in different
Yeah.
directions, right? And
Right. Right.
it takes time to get used to a new staff and for the staff to get used to new players. I like the staff Ben Johnson has hired. There are a few really young people, especially on the offensive side. So you think about their level of experience, but I do
Yeah.
I like the guys they picked up, the offensive linemen they picked up, and you're keeping a long snapper and you're releasing another one, and I don't know what they're gonna do at 10. I hate to speculate because I feel like it never ends
Yeah.
up the way anyone
Yeah.
crapshoot. It's like March Madness. It's like throwing darts,
Yep.
at a,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And so, but I think there's a lot of potential for the Bears to get even smarter. And Ryan Poles does a great job. Um, I believe that him and Ben Johnson are in lockstep. So I hope that it works out for the best. I don't know. There's so much speculation on sports radio and different channels about what to do. But I'm excited for the draft in Green Bay.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about them being at 10, they could either they'll draft a really good player, but they're right in them like in the it's like in the middle, or they're that first half, that bottom of the first half of the draft. So you're thinking in that spot, like, okay, where could they go? Can they move down? Can they move? What are they gonna do? And it looks like they could be in a prime position to move down and get either more picks or anything that if someone wants to move up in that way. But you're right. It looks like you said another new regime and just going through that again, and I'm sure it's frustrating as a fan. I knew you're a fan first before that, but you said looking at it from a different perspective, you want the best for them too. But there's such that division was so tough this season, with Green Bay, with Detroit, and Minnesota.
Well, they the O lineman from Kansas City, and then he resigned with Kansas City, and now they're looking at Ashton Genty.
Right,
They might need another pass rusher, or someone that can be helpful on the offensive side. But I don't know. I mean, I like Tooney, I like Jackson, I like the guys they picked up. So.
Yeah, expectations again, and we'll see what happens. And maybe they won't,
like we have this talk, and then they still stink.
and maybe the expectation won't be as high this time. I know this past season was pretty high, getting Caleb and and the offense and things like that. But you're right, there's like coaching in the GM, and it just wasn't clicking.
Right.
And then that they just trickle effect in the decisions that were being made throughout the year by the coaching staff. It just wasn't, just didn't click. So just a bad season overall. But another comment, Ben Sutter, thank you for tuning in. Says good morning. Yes, it is definitely good morning. Talking to Casey today and everything. So all right, let's move on to March Madness. We're here. Begins in 3 hours. So again, get your brackets in. I got my brackets. I got my men's bracket in. I'm doing the women's. I'll do my women's bracket today. Get that in. I spent the last 2 days on this men's bracket and everything too. So I mean, what's your? This is it right here. Who you have in the final four? If did you do it? I'm sure you did a bracket too.
I did a men's bracket. I need to do a women's bracket still. I have St. John's winning it all, and I know that's crazy.
No,
but
not at all.
Tino and the team have had a really good year. They won the Big East, and you got to be prepared for some upsets. So I think I had. I have to look back at it, but I think I had Michigan State, St. John's, Arizona, and I know Arizona is like my sleeper pick. Who was my fourth?
Was it I got the bracket right
I should have it with me.
Was it Houston, Tennessee?
I gotta pull it up. Hang on. Stay tuned, everybody.
What else we got? Tennessee, Kentucky. I'm just going through the top.
Yeah.
Purdue, Clemson, Gonzaga.
Who I had? I'm logging in right now.
Illinois. Did you have Illinois going to the 4?
No, I don't think they had them going all that far. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Let's see.
No, that's different, actually. No, you got to sometimes be a little, you said Arizona and St. John's. I almost had them in the 4. I got them in the Elite 8. But it's, I figure if they was in a different bracket or even a different side of the bracket, I may have picked them in the 4.
Yeah.
But I got Duke, Houston, Florida, and Michigan State. So agree on Michigan State for sure. And I got Florida over Houston in the final. That's my 4.
My stuff isn't loading. Where's my bracket? Oh, here it is. Everybody, hang on. Okay. I have Michigan, St. John's, Arizona, and Houston.
Houston, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I have Houston winning and St. John's winning, and then St. John's winning it all, which is crazy, but who knows? This
is what I call March Madness, right? It's all about that. No, I like the you had Arizona, different from Duke and Alabama and that on that side of the bracket too. But it's gonna be
Duke.
Yeah. I know I wasn't gonna, but I think Duke is they're very good. I mean, I guess got to see what's going on with Cooper Flag. Is he
Mhm.
healthy? But in the ACC, they still were able to. I think that his injury in the ACC tournament uh help them a little bit just so they won't rely on him so much, and they prove that we can win without him, but they definitely need
Right.
him 100% to get far in this term. So I do got him in the 4, but then losing to Houston as well. But
Yeah.
any surprises that you have?
Let me look. Hmm.
I got BYU going pretty far.
You?
I got BYU going to the 8.
I'm a little bit shocked on this bracket.
I
Uh,
got a lot. I got Yale actually going to 16. So that's
you?
yeah, this is gonna be that would be a huge surprise if they do. And I got Colorado State actually beating Maryland and Memphis. So
Yeah.
those are some of my predictions.
Oh, Drake beating Missouri. Is that all that weird? I guess not.
No, I got Drake. Yep, I got Drake too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's they 30-3, 11 seed. I got them beating Missouri. I got them losing to Texas Tech. I was debating if I was gonna put them in the 16, but
Yeah, I have them losing to Texas Tech too.
yeah. So yeah, it's some good. Yeah, it's
I
gonna
was
be
watching something on NBC Sports the other day about how Drake's kind of a good sleeper pick to go further.
go at least to 16, maybe even the 8. So it's a possibility. You never there's always one or two teams that gets pretty far, at least to the 16 or even the Elite 8. So
Yeah,
uh,
we get busted early.
yeah, they get busted. I just hope I hope my bracket don't get busted as early as it did
Yeah,
last season. But
I know.
that's March Madness for you.
I know.
So yeah, so you have definitely for the Illinois side. What's your expectation for them
Well,
as you
yeah,
got to see them?
I have them playing Xavier. I thought Xavier would win last night, so I guess go me. Um, and I have them losing to Kentucky.
Me too. Yeah, me
Yeah, I
too.
don't know. They just had some inconsistencies this year, and I'm just not sure. I'm not sure they can do it. I mean, the way they got stomped by Maryland was kind of a bummer.
Mm,
Um, and I was at the UCLA game and one of the Northwestern games where they won, so that they looked good then. But I don't know, some of those other games I was just like, oh.
yeah, they started off really hot, and
Mhm.
then they just said they dipped, and it was just an up and down season
Yeah.
for them. But yeah, I have them going. I have them losing to Kentucky too. Yeah, I
Mhm.
got them beating Xavier and then losing to Kentucky. So
Mhm.
uh yeah, so I mean so everyone get their brackets in. We'll see how that goes as well. Women's, who do you like so
I
far?
didn't see a women's bracket yet, but I
Either.
really like my Illini.
Yeah.
Coach Shauna Green and that team have been really, really good this year, and the way that she has progressed that team over the past couple seasons is impressive. Um, but I do think there are just so many tough competitors in the SEC
Yes.
that make it hard. So I don't know. Who do you have in yours?
As of now, like I said, I haven't filled it all the way out though, but I think South Carolina could
Yeah.
repeat. They it's interesting. Dawn Staley was just talking about that they should have been the number one overall, no number one overall seed, and I said to give them any more motivation. Why would why would the committee do that? It's like you're pushing. They already they went through the SEC tournament. They dominated it
Mhm.
and crushed everybody, and now you got them even playing more angry
Mhm.
and more like they need more of a chip on their shoulder. So now they got this mentality like they're gonna just dominate. So I feel like there's so many. I mean, Juju Watkins and
Mhm.
USC,
Unreal.
UConn, and Paige
Mhm.
Beckers. I mean, like I think Paige wants to say, okay, you forgetting about me and forgetting about us. We're gonna show you guys show everyone what's going on. But they're on the same side with USC with Juju and them. So it's
Mhm.
yeah. So we'll see what their TCU looks good.
Mhm.
Haley Van Lith leading that team, redemption for her and leading
Mhm.
that team on her back. So I think they could be tough. UCLA is gonna be tough.
Right.
There's so many good Texas.
Mhm.
There's so many teams in the for the women. So I don't know. I think South Carolina might pull it off. They might go back to back. So
Yeah, they could. It's hard to do that twice, though.
yeah, they haven't done it since I think UConn
Mhm.
back I forgot when it was, 2015, I believe, 2014 or 15, something like that. So they won 3 in a row. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this tournament,
Me
these
too.
two tournaments. So for sure. All right, just got a couple more before I let you go. I wanted to ask you about the DePaul Athletics Blue Demons podcast. You've been doing that. You just finished season 1 just recently. And how's that been going? Now as your podcast, adding something else to your plate.
Yeah, I love it. I love doing that podcast. We do it every other week, usually on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And we have had such great guests. We had Chris Holtman, the head coach of DePaul men's basketball, who's trying to rebuild that team. Just recently, we had Darius Brown, who's one of the he's a 3-time All-American track athlete. So he is incredible to watch, and he's just such a cool spirit. Like he just has great energy. Sorry about my dog.
I guess he was excited too.
He's exciting to watch out there. And just we had Jory Allen, who's on the women's basketball team, and she is amazing. She's like a cool old soul. She just has all these people that I interview are much more dynamic than just their athletic accolades. You know, I know people know that, but like it's cool that we're seeing kind of them behind the curtain, kind of like what you do on your podcast, like getting to know people a little bit deeper. And so it's been cool to talk to people on that pod and just keep doing it, you know, like I love doing it. I'm trying to think who else we had. We had athletic trainers on a few weeks ago for Athletic Training Month. It's crazy how many we've done. I can't even remember who all we've interviewed, but it's been great.
So many episodes. I know. I get it, as you know, doing this podcast too, like few times a week or whatever it is. That when I do it, it is. But you get a chance to dig deeper, as you said, into their background and some of the things they like. As you said, on and off the field and court. I think it's great, and I love how you like queue up the questions and the interview style. I always look forward to that when it comes to podcasting.
I have a great team. I want to shout out my team. My producer Sonia, our editor Kelly, Paul manages things, you know, oversees everything. Will, Colin, all those guys that have helped make the show look great. I couldn't do that by myself. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Any besides that, any more travel plans to do any golf events? I know
last year I went to the PGA Championship. Which was amazing. It was crazy experience. Very cool. But no, not this year. Not this year. I'll be busy with NBC.
Yeah.
That was a cool experience to go to Valhalla last year. But I don't know. My dad had Masters lottery tickets for Wednesday.
Ooh.
But he's like, I don't know. I don't really want to go and buy them. They're expensive, and Tiger's not playing. You know, he hasn't cheated yet this year, so I think he might just sell.
Yeah. And
I do really want to get to the Masters at some point in my life or my career.
I do too. I definitely do. It's funny. I was talking to my wife yesterday and the day before. She doesn't like golf at all, and because I bet on it too. So it's
it's fun.
So the Players Championship was last week and won a little bit of money, and it was. Yeah, thanks. It was interesting because I was thinking, man, the Masters is coming up. I know it's late now to try to get tickets and things like that. And I didn't look into it this past year. And I was thinking to myself, man, the Masters is coming up in April. I would love to go 1 year. I said, okay, one of these years I'm gonna go. But you're right. It's like the lottery and all these things because it's so big. Or I want to go to a tournament. I haven't been to a golf tournament ever. So maybe,
even if it's like a smaller one. The PGA Championship was awesome. I've been a couple times to the one in Columbus, the Memorial. So that's cool too.
Yeah, yes, and you've covered, like I said, track and field, and you were here last year, Villanova, I believe it was, and you covered that. Any plans for Philly again?
You know, I am going to do outdoor track, but I don't think it's in Philly. I think it's at UConn this year. Yeah, they switch it up. And then I also, sorry, my dog got into something crazy. I also will do Big East baseball.
Oh, yes.
For FS1. So that'll be cool. Yeah, it's great to keep up the work with DePaul, the Big East, and still be able to do a lot at NBC too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last question before I let you go. Like I said, you probably got a busy morning coming up as well, and I'm looking forward to this the games coming up. But Women's Mystery Month, and I'm sure I had you on here during my series that I've been doing, just highlighting incredible women in the space. But I'm going to ask you again, just in case, what does Women's History Month mean to you on a professional and personal level?
Yeah, you know, having Women's History Month in March and getting a chance to tell athlete stories and do what I do and even be on your show is such an honor, you know, because we can't forget that there were once not women in this space, you know. And yes, I'm grateful, but also we deserve to be here, and it's just you know, it's great to have other women and men who are so supportive of our career journeys in this space. It's just, I don't know, it's awesome. It feels good to be proud of my career and to be proud to be a woman in this space because you get, you know, respect you didn't think you'd have. And it's just, I'm kind of speechless. It's kind of like a feeling that you can't really describe. It's just really cool to be respected in the sports space, to have your opinions be valued, to get a chance to talk about what you want to talk about, to see other women doing it too, and supporting other women who are doing it. Like some of my best friends, my best girlfriends are women that are in sports too, you know, girls I went on vacation with last year and girls I still see to this day. And just to be supportive of women who they know and I know that there's room for all of us. It doesn't need to be, yes, it's competitive, sure, but it doesn't need to feel like, okay, her success means my failure or my success means her failure. That's not what it is. Everyone can succeed and there's space for all of us. So
I love that. I do. And you said it's well deserving. And it, you know, you kicking down doors and just saying like we're here, we're not going anywhere. And I just love to use this platform to highlight and to celebrate you say like women like you and others from, you know, not just sports but media and business and all on avenues of this space and content creators, whatever it is. And I really, like I said, I personally, I just really enjoyed just having you on this podcast and knowing you a little bit and over the last few years. And I like I said, I love when you got that job at NBC Chicago, and I just want to congratulate you and all the success and blessings coming to you, and that you already been given as well. So,
thanks, Courtney. I really appreciate that. How many episodes for you now have you done?
Man, I know
97 or is there more?
There's been this is 197 for this version of it, but I've done so many other. I probably 300, 400 maybe.
Wow, that's a huge milestone. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. And but Kacy, it's been such a great honor just to continue to have you on the show. I'm so glad. Like every time we do this at least a couple times a year, and we just find the time, even if it takes a few months or whatever. We always find the time. Always, anytime.
Going on, but
anytime. I know you have a lot going. You have a lot going on now, especially, and then you know in between seasons and things like that. You said when one season ends, college basketball ends, you're on to, you said, baseball, softball, and covering that, and then college football and the NFL. It's just it's never ending. So, but it's great. I'm sure it's great to stay busy and everything too. So I really
it is, and I'll always make time for you. So thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate that. I do. I really do appreciate that. And again, you can follow Kacy on all social media platforms: Twitter, X, Instagram. I know you're on Facebook. Anywhere else they can follow you? TikTok?
TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I think it's at just my name, at Kacy Standohar or Kacy Standohar. Sometimes I mix it up, but yeah, follow me wherever. I'm so grateful for the chance to talk to you again.
Yeah.
And
Yes. So Kacy Standohar, follow her on at a game or a event or somewhere near you in the future too. So again, best many blessings to you, Kacy, and we'll do this again maybe before the NFL season starts.
Let's do it.
This again. All right. Well, thanks again. And
the Bears coming up.
Yes. I mean, I wasn't gonna say because my Eagles did win the Super Bowl, so I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. I ain't gonna put that out there, but yes, but I was on cloud nine with that. So, but still am. But again, thank you again, Kacy. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon. Enjoy the madness of March and everything else you got going on. But have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Yep, talk to you soon. Have a good one.